Hello and welcome to the Impact Dynamics podcast.
I'm Andy Little.
I'm Plushy.
Are you ready, Josh? My name's Rusty.
Tonight we're talking about go-karting in the Apple Isle.
And what a hang fire can do to a match.
And master it, guys. Master it.
Instant powder fame.
Hope that's enough.
We need your vote.
Now we've caught up to where we are on the podcast.
All right, go on back.
Roll the outro. All right, here we are.
Hello.
We are very late. Plushy, how long until your bedtime?
It's 15 minutes to my bedtime, Rusty.
15 minutes to your bedtime. All right, we better get through this. Andy, how are you?
I'm good.
Back from the land of the cold?
Yeah.
Yep.
Down from the little Tassie devil.
Good. That's all right. Speaking of Tabby Devils and Little, Josh, how are you?
I'm pretty good. I'm not sure how to feel about that one, though. Yeah.
We need to try and find all the segues that you say and just try and put them all together.
None of them make sense, mate. Speaking of which, how many rounds have you shot since the last episode? Let's update our round counts. You were on 1,248.
Yep.
We can't seem to wipe off the paint that we've used to it. So you're on 1,248. What are you on now, Andy? What have you shot since the last episode?
So I shot the PRS match down in Tassie, and I reckon I would have shot about 220 rounds.
Okay, 220. So that'll put you on 1,468. Do you want to go over there and write that up there so I don't have to watch the episode back to work out how our number we're on next time? That's usually the story. All right, Plushy, what about you?
Whatever Andy did minus about 24 shots,
Okay.
give or take.
24, so going to be difficult. Did you guys shoot the side matches?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was 10 rounds.
Yep.
Did I? I did.
Yep.
I
So
don't know, I
you're
wasn't watching
you're
you.
230 then.
I don't remember. I may
Andy?
not have shot the side match because I was slightly distracted.
Yeah, you were slightly distracted. We'll get into that shortly.
I thought you did because I'm pretty sure there was some comment of like, hey, I shot all 10 shots and it actually went bang.
Oh, no, I did. Yeah,
okay.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
After I cleaned it, I remember now.
you shot about,
Sure.
what is that?
No, I meant
That's
clean the action, not the stage.
1,478. All right, let's run with that. And then you shot 24 less than that. So
210.
so that would be 204. No, 206.
206.
You were at 230, so you'd be 206.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
So that'd be 19 and 24. 1924. There we go. Maths live. Check it out.
I'm glad someone's doing it.
So Andy's certainly not the right guy. Josh, what about you? Have you shot in the last 2 weeks?
I have shot in the last
You
2 weeks.
have. Nice.
I did the side comp,
Yep.
did a little bit with 223, 22. I think I've done about 53
Okay.
in specific.
53 on that. I like the specificity. That's almost that. That was
say that
almost the
again?
word.
Yeah,
No,
in a word.
but you know what I'm going to do to help? I'm going to pour another drink. So we shall do that. Here we go. Some cognac, some coffee flavored cognac.
Oh, look out.
All right, what did I shoot? 0 for the second episode in a row. 300. I'm just trying to make your job easier, Andy. That's all I'm here to do.
That pen is going to be in unused condition.
Yeah, 311. That's where still I'm on. Still rocking that. Good. All right. Now we haven't. I'm just going to look at the camera now. Andy, look at that camera directly. Look serious. We haven't had any 5-star reviews since. We actually haven't had any reviews, but ideally 5-star reviews since the last episode. So, oh wow, Andy's just rage quit.
Oh, look at it go.
Wow.
He's off to do a 5-star review.
Hey, I was going to say, Andy, have you done any reviews for the show?
No.
Okay. So if you were to write a 5-star review for the show, Andy,
Yes.
what would you say in the hypothetical review
Look deep into the camera.
into that camera there?
That camera.
Yeah. I'll do facial expressions for those watching. Those can't listen. They'll listen to you. So ready? Let's go.
Whatever you've got in your life, it's nowhere near as important as tuning into the Precision Impact something podcast. Whatever we are. Precision Shooting Podcast Impact Dynamics.
I think I now have an idea of why we haven't getting 5-star reviews. It checks out.
5-star review. Co-host doesn't know the name of his own show.
Oh, speaking of not knowing the name of your own show, you were severely lacking in impacts, Plushy, because you had hang fires, which you predicted in the last. Well, you weren't here for the last episode. Well, you were in 2 dimensions,
He definitely was. I definitely remember him. He was in the middle.
but you
Left hanging.
hang fire, left hanging. That was a great job for audio.
Yeah,
Plushy, you predicted you were going to have some hang fires.
yeah.
You spoke to us the night of the last podcast, and that prediction came through.
It was way worse than I was expecting. I was expecting to have a couple.
Tell us how it went down at the APRS Roaring Forties Shootout.
I don't know how many times was my gun in pieces on Friday, Josh. Just out of interest, 'cause I feel like you were there for all of them.
Just want to say that cognac's all
I
right.
mean, there's
I'll
a
finish
few.
Ooh.
Oh, we've got photos of them. We have evidence.
We do have photos.
We will
Wait,
delve
wait.
in. We will delve into the match shortly,
Yeah, sure.
but let's delve into your challenges at the match.
Yeah, so I was expecting. Oh, funny story. So I kind of figured I was going to have a couple of hang fires across the course of the match. I'm like,
Why did you predict this?
because I'd had a couple in the lead up to the match.
Yep. Okay.
And then I thought it's okay because last year there was no 30-second hang fire rule.
At this particular range.
Yeah, at this particular range. So I'm like, it'll be fine. I'll just spit it out and load the next one and it'll be okay.
Yep.
And then on Friday at the safety brief, they were like, yeah, so there's a 30-second hang fire rule. And everyone was like, oh. And then, then we did a bit of a mad rush to find if we could find another bolt. We thought there might be something going on in the bolt. And we found one other bolt that was a match for my rifle, but it wouldn't close, even though they're supposed to be headspace the same. Guaranteed headspace the same from the factory.
Okay. We're off to a flying start now.
So
We're
I had
looking at images of you with various tools lying around your rifle.
I had to borrow toolkits from 3 different people to get my rifle apart.
You're well prepared.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, people will have what I need. It turns out I needed it.
Yeah, several people will have what you need.
That's right. And then we diagnosed maybe a little bit of an issue with the trigger, and then I knew that one person had a trigger, and then he'd just given it away to somebody else that was having trigger problems. Like a couple of minutes before I spoke to him.
Oh, no.
Bugger. And then I made it better, so we adjusted the.
I love your technical description. I made it better.
Yeah, better.
Better.
No, we adjusted the sear engagement, and it got a little bit better. I think I was getting about 1 in 2 going off in the practice session on Friday. Yeah.
Oh,
So that wasn't going to be good.
That's got to be a great place for you to think about the match.
Yeah. Well, I probably wouldn't have run the match if it had been that bad.
Yep. And at this point, because you guys had a competition between you and Andy, who was going to finish high. Andy, were you feeling confident on the Friday? Because we were all staying together at the same place as well.
Yeah, I was feeling.
Were you giggling? Because some of those photos are in the accommodation of Plushy trying to fix his gun.
Yeah. I mean,
Were you sympathetic on the outside and being like, yes, here we go? That seems like the wrong video, Josh.
Yeah.
Ignore the screen for a minute.
Okay, I'm ignoring it.
Yep.
Good.
yeah. I mean,
That's Andy's level of confidence increasing.
it's
What, the video that no one saw?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
no. I mean, it always sucks to see someone struggling with equipment, and you know that
Except Plushy.
they've like put in a lot of time and effort and money to get where they are. So it was hard to see. It looked like you were getting definitely very frustrated on the Friday. But on the inside, I was smiling.
I'm glad you went with the truth, Andy.
So I think I managed to get it better on the Friday to I think I did 25 and one didn't go off. And I'm like,
So why were you having hang fires? Do you know?
I know now.
You do now,
Yes,
but
I
did
do.
you misdiagnose it at the time?
I not quite. No.
Okay.
No, it was just, it got worse than I was predicting.
Okay.
Well, not predicting, but worse. It just got worse very quickly.
Yep.
And then I was like, oh, wow.
So
This
it
is
was
not manageable now.
Sear engagement or?
It turns out there's it's actually the cocking piece. There's a bolt that goes through a roll pin that goes through the cocking piece, and it was out of shape, and the firing pin was.
I'm
dragging
also out
across
of
it.
shape.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. All right.
The firing pin was dragging over the top of it.
Yeah.
As it was releasing. But apparently, with Defiance actions and Timney triggers, there's a thing that they can have some problems with the sear engagement.
Yeah, right.
So we kind of looked at that, and I had another competitor was very kind and gave me a brand new
Did he
trigger.
give you a brand new trigger?
Well, I have to replace it. But
okay. Couldn't just buy it off him?
I tried several times. I was like, he's like, you need to replace it. I'm like, what if I give you money? He's like, no. I'm like, what if I give you cash? He's like, no, you still got to replace it. I'm like, what if I gave you more cash? He's like, nope.
Would you like to give a shout out to said shooter for saving your life?
Well, you know who you are.
Wow, no evidence. All right, cool.
No, there was a couple of people that needed some serious help in that match, and the community, as they do, comes together and gave out spare parts and help. And Crispy was good enough to scale the countryside in Tasmania to find a trigger for me, and
He did.
It was very kind, and it was very much appreciated.
Nice, mate.
Nice. So, yeah, we I think Saturday I had about 5 hang fires in the course of the day, which wasn't
great.
Yeah, they always came at the worst possible time
when you were shooting.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, very good. Well, let's before we broaden it out to the entire match.
Before we move on from that, can I show off my little adventures of Plushy trying to find some tools?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. You've prepared something?
I have.
Here we go. Is there audio or are we talking over it? Oh, there's audio.
There is.
Service station. It's all touch and go. You can try. I'll come with you if you want to go.
Well, this is like 7 minutes to 10 or something, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Adventure of Plushy, trying to find an Allen key. Plushy, how's your search for an Allen key going?
He's looking at energy drinks. He's the wrong section.
Bought a pack of Red Bull. It's not going to help you. Might increase your downforce, but not an Allen key. They wouldn't let you in. I wouldn't let you in either. All right. Have you just gone and bought like random kits of Allen keys?
I needed one particular one that I didn't have at the hotel, and we couldn't find another one, so I had to not do anything.
Okay.
There was a ute parked at the pub across the road, and we were looking at it going, I wonder if he's gotten in the back. If we walked inside, it probably wouldn't take us very long to find the owner of that car. He might have Allen keys in there.
Did you do that?
No, we didn't.
Oh, you should have. That would have been a great story.
It would have.
Oh man, I was at this point. I was not well at this match, and so I was. 5:30 p.m. I was in bed that Friday. I was gone. But anyway, otherwise I would have happily walked up to everyone like, do you own a ute? Yeah, anyway, all right, good. Nice. Now, before we go into the tear down of the match and have a look at some details, Plushy, you're back. I'll invite you to walk over to the Wall of Wonder and choose a product for us to do a shout out for our sponsor, the Bearded Chap. Now, the Bearded Chap, for those who are perhaps new to the podcast, because we've been banging about the Bearded Chap for a little while, because it's good gear, right, Andy?
Yeah, it definitely is.
It really is. All right, Beard Bum. Who's trying it, Plushy? Who's trying? You're going to try it.
Sure.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, this is the Beard Bum. So the Bearded Chap, let's give the breakdown. Based in Queensland, Luke, who's the owner, is also a shooter, keen shooter, and we got connected a few years ago on the ID. I'm going to come. Let's all get into it. He's keen shooter, so we like to support him, and he likes to support us. And so he's sponsored the podcast. So big shout out to him. So you guys can go to thebeardedchap.com/impact or use the code
IMPACT.
There we are. And that will help the show out. That'll help Luke out, and you guys will feel amazing. And because what have you grabbed there, Plushy? What have we just rubbed on our faces?
I don't know. Andy's got it. We have got some beard balm. It is the.
I have definitely chosen too much beard balm.
Yeah, me too. The original beard balm.
Yep.
I'm just trying to. What are the scents in there? I'm not. It's not telling me.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it too.
I can't put my finger on it.
Well, I can.
I can definitely put my hand
on it. I have definitely gone with way too much beard balm, and this has got awkward. There's a towel back there, I think. Some sort of reloading towel.
These are wet pants.
Okay.
Well, I've got this. Yeah, I've got this stuff at home, and I do use it quite often. Stuff. Yeah, it is nice, and it's not oily. It doesn't leave you feeling oily.
I definitely chose too much though.
Yep,
definitely chose too much. It is good stuff. Anyway, so we like to support our mate Luke at the Bearded Chap. So you can use the code
IMPACT
or go to thebeardedchap.com/impact. To Josh wanted to press buttons for that, didn't you, Josh?
Yeah. What's the code?
Impact. There it is.
Yes,
Don't do it 3 times. But you can place 3 orders, and that will certainly help the show out. It'll help Luke out, and you guys will. You just yeeted your jumper away. That was fantastic.
The heat is set to like 65 degrees in here.
True. Beard Bum. It's excellent. There we go. Look at that.
Look at that
Perfect. Righto. So the APRS Roaring Forties, our trip down to Tasmania. First match was last year. Back again this year.
Yep.
It is a sensational range. Now, Andy, you hadn't shot this match before.
No.
What was your impression of the range?
I reckon it's a great range. The facilities are good. The cover's good. Like where all the shooting benches are and everything's great. You get this really nice tree line sort of range. And it really challenges your wind reading skills.
Plushy, what's the fall of shot like?
What fall of shot? Just to paint a picture, there's like 800 meters of no berms and no dirt and no feedback.
Yeah. And a whole stack of like just bush type.
Bush grass.
Well,
Yeah.
it was it is still like a forest, effectively. Like it's a tree.
Like a felled forest.
Yeah, and they've just cut the forest down and gone like, okay, shoot.
Done.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you describe it? It's like a black hole.
It's
It absorbs your projectiles.
Yeah, it really was. And there were like fallen branches and stuff all down the range as well. So every now and then, if you miss a target, you might see a bit of timber or a branch kick up. But it wasn't until the guys went out there to do a target repair, and you look through the binos and you're like, that grass is like shoulder high. Like some of the grass out there is long, and your bullet just disappears in it.
And it's wet and mushy.
Yeah. Speaking of that grass, it told lies.
Yes,
Oh,
definitely.
okay.
Big time lies. So here we go.
We
Look
got
at the
we got
grass.
an image
Yeah.
for those who are
Photos.
watching.
Yeah,
of-
so the grass would be blowing one way.
I probably
and then-
should have sent you a video, but that's okay.
Yeah, the
It's a
grass
bit
would
late
blow
to bring
like
that
one
up.
way, and your projectile would go completely the other.
Yeah.
The only thing I found that was telling the truth was the trees at the back of that photo, which everyone can't see at home.
and the go-kart
Yeah.
track, but we'll get on to that later.
Those trees?
the tops
Those
of those trees, which
Yep.
way they were blowing was which way the wind was blowing.
Yeah.
It was
So
the
that-
only thing that was actually accurate on that range to tell
Okay.
you where the
Yep.
wind was going.
And so that mound at the back there is 800 metres, but as you can see, we've got targets out to the right with nothing.
Yeah.
So if you miss them and you can't see trace, you're guessing.
It definitely tested your ability to how you respond to a miss when you get no feedback. There were
Yep.
some people that really struggled with that.
Were you one of them, Plushy?
Well, when my gun went bang, when it didn't go bang, I really struggled to get feedback. Yeah. No, I didn't hate it. It was just a different test of skills.
Now, you
Yeah.
won this match last year.
Yeah.
You didn't win this year, just to clarify.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. But for those who are listening and really did struggle with seeing full of shot when you don't have a lot to go on, what did you do to benefit yourself in that regard?
You kind of there was a lot of things, but there was kind of like you had to have a plan A and a plan B
Okay.
and a plan C. So
Yep.
like I think I said to Josh last year, like first round impacts are worth 2 or 3 points at this range. And
Yes,
it was exactly
remember
the
that.
same this year.
Yep.
Where you get someone to capture, like not a lucky left edge because they made a good win call, but they caught a lucky edge.
Yep.
And then they're like, oh, that's what the wind's doing. And they make a correction on the next target and off they go. And
Yep.
someone misses and they've got no feedback.
Yep.
And they spend 2, 3, 4 shots getting back on target where the other person's just wonking their way out and got a reasonably good idea about what's going on. But it was really challenging. Like Trace was, if you could spot Trace, you were like at a massive advantage over everybody else.
Yep.
Not everybody was able to do that. Your plan of what am I going to do if it misses on the first one? Like you watch, it was so heartbreaking watching through the spotters. People have missed. So let's say they missed off to the left, and they just keep adding. Like they'd held too much. They'd held too
Furthest
much.
to the left and furthest
And
to
they
the
just
left.
keep adding more and more, and then end up being like 1.5 mil off the target, and you're like, go the other way, just go the other way. But yeah, so that plan was like, okay, I've missed on one side. I was stopping, looking up, and looking at the tops of the trees. And you're like, what are they doing differently to what I thought they were doing? And you're like, oh, it's stronger. All right, add more, or it's dropped off, add less, and try and get on that way.
Yep.
That was the biggest thing I think I did was there was no feedback. Just stopping engaging what the wind's doing differently to what you're expecting because it was changing quickly. And then not everybody. Some people had trouble with elevation, so they thought they tried left, they tried right, they tried left, they tried right, they tried on the target, but they went under it or over it or something like that.
Yep.
And they just didn't see where it was going, so they didn't know. It was hard. It's hard to watch. People send an entire 10 shots and get nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you've seen through the spotter, you've seen where every single one went.
Yeah.
Speaking of getting nothing, Andy, you actually did better than Plushy. Now, I'm going to throw back. Hang on, let's this is for our listeners, right? There was a challenge and there was also a giveaway riding on this. Now, the challenge was Plushy versus Andy, which makes sense for a PRS match. Now, Plushy, you're going to claim, no, you're not, because you're a genuine dude, but you have the ability here to claim, oh, no, my gun was faulty and that sort of gear, but that's also your fault. And so Andy beat you. Now, we took a giveaway plan on people predicting by how much. Do you want to swap places, Andy?
He's just giving me the eyes.
Now, the closest, very few, this is good news for you, Plushy, very few people predicted Andy to beat you.
Yeah.
But Chris,
Normally they would have been right.
Chris dislikes you immensely, and Chris predicted Andy to win by 2. Andy, would you like to tell us how many points you beat Plushy by after Plushy had 5 hang fires and an unreliable gun all weekend?
No, 6.
Six.
6 hang fires.
6 hang
I
fires.
like
and
how you
overload.
put all that in there. It makes me sound like a really good shooter.
Wait. You just tell me you just tell everyone how much you won by, and then we'll talk about the
How many
rest.
points did you win by?
Uno.
1.
Uno.
Just 1. So Chris guessed 2. Chris, get in touch. You have won yourself something. A trigger that doesn't work with the definer.
I'm definitely a gentleman, but I reckon one of those 22 shots I didn't take, I reckon I could have got an impact.
Probably.
I don't know, just throwing it out there.
Yeah. So, but plus, Andy, you shot well. You obviously shot well enough. It was close at the end.
Oh yeah, there was like 2 points separated, like 8th to 3rd or 4th or something like that.
Yeah,
It was
that's
very
it.
close.
We have the series of events.
This is as the scores were being read out, and Andy worked out he'd just beaten Plushy by a point, and then Plushy's response visually there is Plushy just looking. Oh, what am I doing with my life?
That was at the moment that I was doing the maths when I realised how many shots I didn't take and how many points I missed placing by, and I was like, oh.
And so this, for those who can see, no, go back, stop rushing this, Josh. Andy's about to jump up. He looks so excited. He's finally
won the
beaten
match.
Plushy. But what I want to direct you to is Kev, who's the match director's face behind slightly. He is about to piss himself. He is loving this. So, and then we go to Plushy, smiling, accepting his fate, going, well shot, Andy. I'll get you next time.
That's it.
I've got excuses that I can talk about on the podcast and cover myself here. I'm not that bad a person.
This guy.
This guy. Heartbreaking. Look at Ben Kennedy's face. Isn't that great? He's just like, oh, ouch.
Ben Kennedy's sitting next to you in this photo, and he's just looking at you going like, is he about to rip, or are we safe here?
Rage.
He doesn't know whether he should run away or good. So congratulations to Chris for picking it almost correctly. We're close enough.
Thank you.
Well, hang on. Somebody picked by a couple of hang fires. Maybe they won.
Only because you brought it up.
I do also remember a conversation with you, though, on, I believe it was the Friday of, I probably should have brought my other gun.
Yeah.
Now, I had that question. So shout out to Aaron, who won his first match.
well
Tassie.
done.
Yep.
Now we just want to go with a conspiracy theory here. Is that when you won in Tassie, Plushy, you're a South Australian shooter who was a semi-pro rank at the time,
Correct.
and you won a match as a semi-pro. Only person to have done that. We then go back to Tasmania this year. We've got a semi-pro shooter in Aaron, who's from South Australia, who has won the Tassie match.
Yeah.
So next year, when the Tassie match is on, look out for a South Australian semi-pro.
We should start taking bets now.
It could be good. Sorry, were you going to say something about Aaron or about your defence of how poorly you shot or something?
Oh, taking my other gun. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right, so Aaron, I think asked today, why didn't Plushy take his other gun?
It's tough because I'm sponsored by a whole bunch of people and I want to represent those people. And I didn't think there was a 30-second hang fire rule. Had I realised there was a 30-second hang fire rule, I even checked with a couple of people, but I didn't check with the match director. And let that be a lesson at home, boys and girls. Check with the match director what the rules are.
That's probably a really sensible thing to say.
Had I have realised, I would have just taken my backup gun, which is shooting really, really, really good.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah.
Fair enough. I think we have a helicopter flying overhead because
We definitely do.
it just got very loud in the background.
Is it about to land on the roof?
It might be about to land on the roof the way it feels. All right, I think it's on its way. Very good. Now, the Tassie match overall, we should talk about because Kev stepped up to the plate and ran his first match as a match director. Now, one of the things that I worked a fair bit with Kev on this match, and I haven't found a match director and a club that is so focused on improvement. These are the first guys I've seen as a club that on a Saturday immediately after. So this is during dinner. This is before dinner actually, and in fact they sat down. Their whole RO team sat down while all the shooters went up for dinner, and I had to yell at 2 shooters to not go for seconds because I had to let the staff go and go and get their own food. But they sat down and did an after action report on day 1 to see what they could change and implement, both moving forward, and 2 for day 2, what they could change for day 2.
Yeah, nice.
That attitude of and I think where it came from a lot was those guys don't necessarily shoot PRS matches. Yeah. they're not exposed to the sort of the wider thinking. And so they were willing to take all the lessons they could and to do what they could to make this as good a match as possible.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they learnt heaps. And I've spoken with Kev since, and there's been lots and lots of lessons that they want to take away from it. And I think that the Sunday ran a lot better for them than the Saturday. And I'll put all of that back onto those guys for looking at what they did Saturday and going, right, here's areas we can improve and work on. So, big kudos to those guys of how they responded to that. And, they've experienced a lot of really top-level shooters going, all right, we can learn from this immediately. Not like, oh, what do we implement in the next three months or next year or anything like that. What can we do tomorrow to improve this match? Now, not all the changes could be made by tomorrow, but they did certainly make changes. Now, you guys were the shooters in this result, in this scenario. Tell us your side.
We spent the Saturday morning negotiating stage briefs.
Yeah.
We're like, are you sure that's what you want us to do? And they're like, what do you mean? And we kind of put our point across as our shooters do and whinge and whine and moan and we're like, we're not going to hit anything. This is not fair. And then some slight changes were made and they took the feedback on and then the stages were...
Sensible changes.
Yeah, the sensible changes. They took it on board and we're like, what if you allowed this piece of equipment and we can overcome this obstacle that we think maybe wasn't really the intention of how you wanted this to be run. But this is where we're at. And they're like, okay, cool. Kev took it on board. He's like, sounds fair to me.
Yep.
We did some stuff like that and the match was better for it.
Agreed. Yeah.
Totally.
And it showed a level of humbleness of like, cool, I'll respond to the feedback and we will change it. And it was good because it was changed prior to anyone shooting things where appropriate. So it was good to see them respond to that. And to be honest, I'm sure Kev doesn't mind me talking about this. We suggested a lot of changes prior to the match anyway, and they were all implemented without much hesitation, so it was really good. We could have changed a bunch more. There's an element, I'm always when working with sort of guys doing the first one, I don't want to come in and like rewrite their entire match, right? Because people don't learn from someone coming in and changing everything. You can make some changes, but you want them to get feedback from shooters like happened where they go, okay, all right, that didn't go down well. But that they learn the lesson that way.
Yep. Yeah, I think there's as a shooter, you've got, some shooters have got more clout than they realise sometimes. And when they speak, you have to choose your words.
Yeah,
because they really, some guys can take that to heart and it needs to be constructive.
Yes.
And stuff like that. And I think that was mostly how it was relayed, was constructive. Like, well, what are you trying to test here?
Yep.
And they're like, this is what we're trying to do. We're like, well, we probably can't do that for these reasons. And they're like, okay, cool. Yep. There was one particularly rickety barricade. I mean, we spoke about. I think it might have been the first stage of the match for my squad.
It was, yeah.
And it was one bag, and it was rickety, and the target was at 750 meters or something like that. We were like, this is not going to be fun. We were like, can we use tripod rear? They're like, nope. Oh. Like, okay.
Yep.
And we were talking to the stage officer and he was like, we run this all the time in club matches. We're like, oh yeah, how far are the targets away? And he's like, 300-400 meters. I'm like, do you hit them? He's like, not a lot. I'm like, oh crap. And then they went and spoke to Kev and Kev's like, sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah,
it was braced and made a bit sturdier and tripod rear, and everyone ran it and it ran fine.
And
people hit targets and it didn't affect the outcome of the stage.
Well, no, it made it much more positive, I think.
Yeah.
And what was funny to me, so that was a particular barricade, and I guess from those lessons learned, next year's Tassie match will be much better for it.
Oh, for sure.
From here, those guys, I believe that they were going to spend the Sunday night burning a bunch of their barricades. I mean, maybe not. But
I hope that one went on there.
That one. What was funny is as we were setting up for Sunday, Kev's come up to me. He's like, "You're not going to like this, but that barricade that was a problem today, I've got 2 of them and I need to use them tomorrow." And it was just the way he said it was great. And we then modified that accordingly. And
running around with ratchet straps on Saturday afternoon.
But we made it work.
It was fine. It didn't move.
That Sunday barricade was rock solid. Now they're building barricades to that level. And what was great is to shooters go down there and communicate this sort of gear. And I respect the way you guys did it. It wasn't like a whinging type scenario. No. It was like
a little bit of whinging.
All right, there was a little bit. I was trying to talk you up.
I didn't say I was whinging.
No, yeah, but you heavily implied it. All right, whinger. So we were talking about, but it was done in a way like here is why this is potentially a bit of a problem here. We'd suggest some changes here, and it was responded well. And I think that a lot of people thought it was going to be a subpar match. And I think,
It was good.
you guys tell me, overall.
I think a lot of people probably walked away from that going, wow, when there's not a bit of dirt behind a target, like
Yep.
I don't know how to cope. And there's a whole skill set that people need to develop and work on, because you can do it. Like, I'm not saying
you
can
prove
serve-
that. Yeah,
you can. But people need to work on it. And I think people will go away, work on it over the next 12 months or so, and come back next year and be better.
There's I guess there is a couple of range level things that they have feedback on that they're going to work towards to make a little bit more feedback more possible. But there was already a couple of those plans in place, and then we've come up with a few other ideas, which I won't share. I'll let those guys sort of work on and bring to the table. But I think next year's Tassie match is going to be a good step forward.
Oh, it's an amazing facility.
Oh,
They've got
phenomenal.
so much potential there. Like, I think I'll go every year. There's no doubt about that. I'll keep going back. It's one of my favourite matches on the calendar.
Andy, your first time there?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I found the ROs probably just from having that experience on the Saturday, and maybe the debrief on the Saturday night was Sunday ran a lot smoother. They had a bit more confidence with the giving out the stage description and like, they were getting everyone ready for the next shooter up. It just ran a little bit more smoother on the Sunday.
It's good.
And I think all the barricades, once we had that first one fixed up with the tripod rear, the rest of the barricades were all pretty solid and pretty good. I think it was a great match.
I think it's good investment from the shooters to put that into the guys that are there at that local level, and those guys will do well.
But definitely a interesting range when there's a bit of wind up and you get multiple different wind directions and swirling winds, and
Absolutely.
that was
It's
good.
kind of like people will be like, what was your win call? You're like, do you really want to know? Because it's not going to be the same.
Centre.
Now, I guess we've got to elaborate a little bit, because people are going to be asking, people are going to be keen for it.
Yeah.
Now, I talked about I was not well over the course of the weekend, particularly on the Friday, and I went to bed about 5:30. But you guys did two missions. One, to find some Allen keys, and two, you guys went for part one of the go-karting.
We did.
People were interested in the go-karts. Tell us. We got more questions about the go-karts than we did about shooting. So
Well, I think after like expending all of my emotional energy on the Friday afternoon of the match, we were pretty keen. There was like some like, are we really going to go go-karting? And I was like, yep, we're going go-karting because I need to get away from here for a bit.
Yeah.
So we marched on down. It was like, we thought it was a 20-minute drive, and it was like an hour and 5 minutes in traffic.
It technically was about a half an hour drive. It's just the traffic.
Turns out all of the roads in Hobart go through the centre of Hobart.
Yeah. It's like one main.
one road through Hobart is
main bridge.
It was good. We got there and they're like, oh, outside track's closed, guys. We're using the short track today. We're like, oh,
Bummer.
Can you open it for us? They're like, it's really slippery. We're like, we're okay with that. And like, yeah, we're not.
Yeah.
So we jumped in. Josh and I got in the shifter carts, the faster carts straight up.
From the get-go.
And
because you guys qualified last time we
That's
went.
right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and then Andy
I was the rookie, so I just start in the, I guess the slower cart, the normal cart.
wasn't that slow.
No, that was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. What were the lap times, Josh? Like 18 seconds, 17 seconds, I think. Somewhere around that.
Let's see. Which one's the
Oh, here we
There we
go.
go.
I like how
There
Josh
we go.
pulls up the image
Here
of
we
him
go.
on top.
Of course.
Yep.
Yep.
Very
Hey,
nice.
Andy.
17.4 on the inside.
Did you
Yep.
change your name to Brock Steele for the Friday? Because Brock Steele's sitting in second, whoever that is.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like you, but, could have been a makeover.
Yep.
Someone Plush looks very intense.
I think
That was my last year's photo.
Oh, okay.
was that still while I was in the shift in the slower cart, maybe?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I picked my best time, and
I
that's
think
what
you
I'm
should
rolling
go
with.
to one of the other photos there.
I've only got 2 photos, funny enough.
Oh, interesting.
So look, a little shout out to Hyperdrive down in
Yeah.
Tassie. They down in Hobart. They run the electric go-karts, and we stumbled across them last time because we were there for an extra day and really enjoyed it. And they looked after us last time. Went back this time, and you guys got a special run in your last go, didn't you?
Ooh, we
Yeah,
did.
we
Yeah,
did.
they
That's
turned
cool.
out the lights for us. It was nighttime, obviously, and they have these little LED strip lights all the way around the track, and we did like 20 odd laps.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
in the dark.
Yeah.
That was very cool.
It was
actually.
very cool.
Yeah.
It was a whole different atmosphere having no main lights on.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, that's when they did. Was that when they put us in the shifter carts and they made them faster as well?
In
They
order.
put us in
Yeah.
automatic.
They did,
Yeah.
Faster
Yeah, right.
again. We ran some quick laps.
Yeah.
Some very quick laps on that race.
Nice. Well, on we stayed Monday. You didn't. Plushy had triggers to go and fix, so he left. But Andy, myself, and Josh, and this is where we're going to turn into I guess tourist guides, because we were. I think we were sitting there on Sunday night, not watching the Grand Prix because it was cancelled. And so we're sitting there. I came up, I'm like, remember, Josh, we had on the last time we were there, we stayed in a place called Richmond. This time we played in Sorrel. But there was a really nice place, walking distance from where we had stayed. We went for breakfast on the Monday and we remembered, not much details about it apart from the fact that it was nice. And we're like, hey, we should go there. And then we're going to go to Mona, which is like a museum of new and old art, or old and new art. That was
That's
interesting.
like world-renowned museum.
Yeah, it is.
That one,
Yeah.
yes.
Pretty cool.
We'll get into that briefly. Some interesting stuff to talk about there.
There's
And
a wall of things.
Then we'll go to the go-kart place, and then we'll go to the airport, and we're good to go.
On the mountain.
And the mountain,
Mount Wellington,
and the wind calling location. And so we went to Richmond to have breakfast, and we walked into this place. Now, Andy, you hadn't been in this place before.
No.
You pulled your phone out as soon as you walked in and started taking 400,000 photos.
Oh, come on. There's a couple of short videos for the missus.
Is that the cafe like a couple hundred meters down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, we went there.
That was really nice. So we had Andy and I ordered.
Very quaint. It was a very quaint little cottage towny sort of thing.
We got there and we sat down. It was been like 9 o'clock in the morning,
Yep.
and you've spotted something on the menu, Andy.
Yeah.
What have you spotted?
I can't remember what it was called, but it was bacon and eggs.
Okay, yes, that's also true. But I was
Yeah.
thinking about something else. But yes, let's go with
Oh.
that first. No, let's
Oh,
go.
yeah.
No.
Yeah,
You've led.
sorry.
You've led with the
Makes
the
us sound much
Canadian.
better.
So,
Yeah.
we got to save the best till last.
The maple
The
bacon and eggs on
Sounds
waffles.
pretty
That's
standard,
right.
yeah.
So that was definitely a healthy breakfast.
Took a photo of that and sent it to the Canadian Dave Acker
Yeah.
and said, "Thinking of you as we had
Yep.
our breakfast."
Yep. That was definitely good. And we thought
But before you saw that on the menu, what did you see on the menu, Andy, at 9 in the morning?
affogato.
What do we order at 9 in the morning?
Affogato.
2 of them, yeah.
Only two.
And,
Yeah,
and
we were driving.
it was like, I'm pretty sure there was like Italian guy making the coffees and he's like, oh, this is the best way to start a good morning.
I thought it was French, but whatever. So we started the morning with affogatos.
Yeah.
It was great. And then had our bacon and egg waffles
Waffle,
with
maple syrup.
syrup.
Yeah.
Making you hungry. Stop
it was good. Then we drove down to the Wall of Vaginas at Mona, which was an interesting place. Anything stood out for you, Josh?
We got a photo of Andy.
Oh, yeah.
we did get a
Yes,
photo of Andy.
awesome.
Yes, for those who are listening, I can't describe this one. This is
a
this
bit
is
creepy.
different. Yeah.
Bit creepy.
This is the Mona
do we have
Andy.
any other photos, or that's it?
Yeah, we do, but I haven't set them up.
Okay,
so
cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
There was 2 fish in a bowl with a knife.
Yeah.
Thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
There literally was a wall of vaginas.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
That's been there for a while, I think. I think that's like a staple
So
thing.
they're
that doesn't-
stinky old vaginas then.
yeah.
Righto. Fair enough. And
There was the big laser cut steel sculptures outside. That was pretty interesting.
yeah, that was cool. If you're
Yeah,
if you're in Tassie, no, we're
Yeah.
not. Are we art critics, Andy?
No.
No. Are we?
Although we do appreciate a good rifle. So
this is true.
that is art.
This is true. And we found ourselves entertained for a few hours comfortably there, wouldn't we?
It
Is
was
that
interesting.
on an island? Is that
It's not
It's on like a little-
really.
quite a, like
There's
a
some
bluff or
interesting
something?
signs
What do
in
you
the
call it?
drive-in, but it was a great place. Like, it's worth a visit. It's
Yeah.
worth a visit.
And it's pretty reasonably priced. I actually
$30
like
or something.
Yeah, like one of the things that fascinates me is the actual architecture and how they built the thing, carved into the stone underground sort of thing.
It felt like a James Bond
Yeah.
villain layout.
It was
Facilities
honestly.
was something else.
how they built
phenomenal.
the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, well, James Bond. That's it was legit. That's the level it was. Yeah,
Pretty cool.
Bond villain. And there was a room. This is going to be not well described. There was definitely rooms. There was more than one room. I think I'll leave it at that because I was going to describe it and I won't do it justice. So maybe we'll put the photo up somewhere
Lots of
of
different-
Andy with lights all around him and
Lots of different vibes.
There was lots of different vibes. That was true.
Yep.
And then we went up to the top of Mount Wellington,
We did.
and you got the Kestrel out.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that's audio is terrible. But
Yeah.
what did it get up to?
I think it peaked at about 31 mile an hour or 30 mile an hour.
Right at the top of this
Yeah.
bloody
And
mountain.
it was
It looks over
minus
Hobart.
1.6 wind chill.
Yep,
So there was a bit of snow up there.
there was snow up there.
Nice.
And this is during, well, not summer, but also not winter.
No.
No. Some of the other lads were up there earlier the day, and they said there was like 45k an hour winds.
K or mile an hour? Well,
K.
K.
That's
Yeah,
about
right.
30 mile an hour.
Yep.
Give or take.
Oh no, maybe it's the other way then. Yeah,
Yeah.
like it
I
was.
think they
it was,
said it was higher.
It was
Yeah.
much higher than we saw it.
Yep.
And Josh got roped into taking photos. of
did.
groups of people, and
did.
we were heckling.
But
Yeah,
It's like an iPhone photographer now.
that was after the reason I kind of felt a bit more obliged to do it is this lady had come up and offered to take photos of us as I was taking selfies.
Yep.
And I'm trying to find it on my thing, and my eyes aren't working.
What was great was there's our
So this is
photo.
the selfie I took, and she came along and offered to take photos, and I have refused to use them because they weren't great.
the selfie was
The selfie
better.
was better.
So then we wandered to this other area and they've asked Josh, out of the three of us, they've asked Josh to do it.
Yeah.
And all we are doing, like he's like, there's a group of maybe 20 odd people.
Yeah.
He's got the phone that he's taking photos on and we're ripping into him for being short.
He's going to send you the
That's right.
invoice.
Because I kept walking up the stairs to get a better angle, and it's like, I'm not running off with your phone.
And
Maybe.
we're like, it'd be easier to do if you weren't so short. It was, we had a great time. And then
it was like, you wouldn't believe it, but he does this for a job.
when you see the photo, you won't believe it, but he actually gets paid for this.
Do you get paid?
Apparently.
Sorry.
dear.
I'm sorry to
I'm
use
still
the
trying to
thing.
get the actual pay slip and the money to come through,
They
though.
were. And then we went from here to the go-karts for a second time. For my first time where they had the full track open. And let's just say I dominated everyone else who was in a normal cart.
That's what the group chat said.
Yeah. Yeah. Not in the shifter carts, which you guys were in.
Not me.
That's the wrong image there, Josh.
Yeah, that was.
Come
You
on,
did this
mate.
last time, mate.
Yes, we see.
There we go. There
You
we
get
go.
paid for this.
Oh wow, Andy, that was slow.
No, I've had better laps than that.
I will
what it
pay
says
him
up
that.
there.
He did a 41.8, but it wasn't a 41.4. So
Yeah. And I got the opportunity to go into the faster carts, and I'm like, no, I've only just worked out how to drive these damn slow ones, so I'm going to stay with these ones.
Yep.
I had one race left,
Yeah.
and so I'm like, no, I'm going to just master this and get better. And I did. I took half a second off the
You
bloody
mastered
time
it
again.
at 46 seconds.
Yeah. That's the dude that works there says his best time was around 43. So I'm a couple of seconds off him, and he works there, and I go there once a year.
he
I'm
also
happy.
does go-kart racing.
And he
on the
does
side
go-kart
too.
roading.
Okay,
So
right,
I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
So that was good fun. And there was a shooting match on as well, I think, that weekend.
I broke one of their carts
Oh, you
for a little bit.
did
I
you?
came around a corner that hard, hit the metal grate, and it just
Yep.
came up with error, and I had no power.
Yeah.
Was it cart 35?
It was.
Shout out to Hyperdrive. You should fix that cart.
No, leave it the way it was because
hang
that
on.
was fast.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on. No, 25. 35 was quick.
25. No, it wasn't 25.
No,
I
25 was
requested
slow.
not to
You
be
need
in
to
that
fix
car.
25.
We looked it up actually, Plushy. The year before when we went, 25 was what Josh said his fastest time in.
Yeah.
Right.
They obviously haven't changed the tyres
Yeah,
since then.
clearly.
Yeah, Evan
Or
Epsom.
recharge the batteries or anything.
Oh, very good. Now, gentlemen, we are either of you shooting Buchan?
No.
No. So the Gunsport Winter Classic. Josh and I are going.
We are.
So we shall
Surprising.
report on that.
Very
in the
nice.
what do you mean surprising that we're going to a match?
It's sarcasm.
Never heard of it. No. All right. So we're going to do a match and we're going to go check it out.
Very good.
And we're not shooting it, but plenty are.
I'm hoping that my camera's fixed for this one.
Oh, yeah. You broke your camera for the
Shutter
last
break,
one.
yeah.
Yeah.
You guys need
Yeah.
to reinvigorate
Lovely.
like the Buchan pub days because they've sort of died
Yeah.
down a little bit. You're going to have to work on that and
Yeah,
get everybody
righto.
to the pub on Saturday night and have some fun.
Okay. All right. Well, I shall. That
That is the challenge.
Here is my
That
challenge.
That is the challenge.
Yes.
See if you can break a table or something.
And it's not a Formula One weekend, so we will be not so keen to go back to the accommodation to
Yeah.
watch that. So, yeah, all right, you're on.
It's a fair point, though, because when I first jumped into PRS for Monado 21, and
It's
there
just-
was parkour, table sliding everywhere.
Yeah.
And this is what I told PRS was like, and I was like, nah, this is great.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, everyone got too serious.
Now everyone just goes
It's-
back to their hotel and like I don't know,
Sleeps.
dry fires.
You don't need to look at the match book.
Fixes
Slide
their
on some
trigger or
tables.
something. Yeah.
Well, we shall finish this episode out by naming the next episode. Next episode is called We Got Really Drunk in Buchan. Thanks, guys, for watching.
Cheers.
Go to thebeardedchap.com/.
Impact.
We'll see you in the next episode.